If you've spent any time studying the civilian front during the Second World War, you already know the battlefield wasn't just in Europe's forests, trenches and ruined cities. It was inside kitchens, root cellars, barns and even the cracks between floorboards. Ordinary families built entire survival strategies around keeping just a few precious foods out of the hands of occupying troops. And when you dig into the stories, you begin to understand something powerful. Food wasn't just nourishment, it was resistance, independence, and sometimes the only thing standing between life and starvation. For the legacy of survival community, this matters because the lessons go far beyond history. They show how people protected what kept them alive under surveillance, scarcity, and unpredictable danger. The opening minute of this video is about grounding you in the mindset of those families. They weren't prepping for hobby's sake or studying survival for sport. They were doing what it took to protect their children and elders from hunger in a world where every loaf of bread, every drop of oil, and every handful of grains had the potential to save a life. When you look at these foods and the methods used to hide them, you begin to see practical skills modern people can still apply today, especially those who want to strengthen their resilience at home. Let's take a closer look at 7 of the most commonly hidden foods across occupied Europe and how families safeguarded them, used them, and in many cases kept them secret for years. Families hid grains because they were the foundation of survival. Grains like wheat, rye, barley and oats became targets for occupying troops because they were stable, transportable and essential to military logistics. Families hid them anywhere soldiers wouldn't bother checking, under livestock bedding, sealed in clay jars buried beneath manure piles or inside false-bottom barrels. The logic was simple. Lose the grains and you lose bread, porridge, dumplings and the ability to stretch almost any meal. Many households stored small amounts in multiple locations so that even if one stash was taken, another remained. This is a lesson still useful today. Spreading long-term staples across a few secure containers in different parts of the home protects your resilience if one area becomes unusable. Instead of a single pantry shelf, modern preppers often use closets, attic corners, and even sealed containers under beds. It's the same principle families in Poland, France, and Greece relied on to stay fed. You know, families protected root vegetables because they were reliable and filling. Potatoes, carrots, beets and turnips really became the backbone of many wartime diets. Occupying forces, well, they conducted routine searches of cellars because they knew exactly how valuable these crops were. This forced families to use decoy cellars, hide small sacks under mounds of straw in barns, or even leave a small portion of the harvest visible to convince soldiers they'd handed everything over. Root vegetables, they grow quietly, don't attract attention like livestock, and store well for months. Today, the modern application is pretty straightforward. Learning how to store root vegetables in improvised cold storage, like an insulated bin on a balcony, a buried outdoor container, or a temperature-stable corner of a garage, provides a long-lasting food supply with minimal equipment. People hid cooking fats because they were more valuable than gold. Butter, lard and vegetable oil kept food calorie-dense, which was absolutely critical when meals were scarce. Occupiers confiscated fats immediately because they powered both households and military kitchens. Families responded by storing fats in sealed pottery tucked behind chimney stones, hidden inside firewood piles, or wrapped in cloth and lowered into wells where the cold preserved them. Many preserved fat in cooked form, like cracklings or rendered lard mixed with flour, because it disguised the scent. For modern readers, the takeaway is important. Fats are survival essentials because they store energy efficiently. Rendering and storing fats properly, keeping small amounts in multiple containers, and learning basic preservation techniques are all skills that still matter in long-term resilience planning. Sugar and honey were hidden because they boosted morale and medicine. Sugar rations disappeared quickly in occupied regions, and honey became an even greater target because troops wanted it for field use. Families often hid sugar in cloth bags sewn into mattress linings or disguised as animal feed. Honey was stored inside hollowed-out wooden beams, sometimes wrapped in beeswax and sealed tight. Sugar and honey weren't luxuries. They were calorie sources, fermentation starters, wound treatment aids, and bartering currency. People who study survival today still use honey to preserve foods, ferment drinks, and treat minor cuts. Keeping small jars in separate locations remains a smart practice, just as it was 80 years ago. Dried beans were protected because, well, they were protein you didn't have to feed. While livestock could be seized, beans couldn't moo or bleat, you know? That made them just perfect for hiding. Families stored dried beans in sealed tins, buried in garden beds, or even embedded in walls behind loose bricks. Beans could replace meat, stretch soups, and offer complete nutrition when times were hard. Even today, stocking dried beans remains one of the smartest long-term food strategies. Stashing small quantities in multiple well-sealed containers around the home honestly mirrors exactly what wartime families did. Meat was hidden because it was the most punishable food to possess. In many occupied areas, hiding meat, especially pork, could result in brutal punishment. Still, families found ways. Some smoked meat in attics, vented to look just like normal chimney heat. Others buried cured sausages in ash pits. Some stored meat submerged in brine buckets, sealed with boards and disguised as water barrels. The practical lesson here is preservation diversity. Smoking, salting, pickling and curing aren't just historical curiosities. They're still effective ways to keep meat shelf-stable without refrigeration. Families concealed dairy because it spoiled fast, and well, soldiers knew it. Milk, cheese and cream were seized immediately because fresh dairy was rare. People hid cheese wheels in haylofts, packed in herbs to mask the scent, or shaped soft cheese into irregular lumps disguised as stones or feed. The broader modern takeaway is simple. Knowing how to stretch and preserve dairy, turning milk into yogurt, soft cheese or clarified butter, reduces waste and strengthens household resilience. These 7 foods show the creativity, courage and discipline ordinary families used to protect their survival. Their methods weren't dramatic, they were practical, repeatable and built on knowledge passed quietly from one generation to the next. If you found this guide useful, subscribe to Legacy of Survival and share it with others who appreciate real history, real skills, and the resilience of people who endured one of the hardest chapters in human history.